So many teasers for the patch preview tomorrow, guys. So many. Let's start off with what was shown on the Paladins game Twitter. First, we have this picture of an upcoming skin. The text says, Lifeform Extermination Protocol, Engage. Now, this skin is one I've been waiting for. If you're in my sub-Discord, you've probably seen my game is pretty much always set as Mecha Drogos Waiting Sim or something like that. And that's because this skin is a mecha-inspired skin for Drogos. You can see the wing right there too. I cannot wait for this. You guys know how much I love my dragon. They also put up this picture of a mask. This one says, don't stare at the mask, you might see it in your nightmares. Now, I'm not entirely positive on what this is. A lot of people see this and think Drogos as well, but they wouldn't make two teasers for the same thing. Maeve is supposed to be getting a skin with a mask soon, but it's supposed to follow the Zoro theme, so I don't think it's her either. I can only guess that it has to be a new character, one that's supposed to be scary, and that's pretty fitting for this time of the year. Now, let's talk about what Hi-Rez Holt teased. I've said it before, guys, Holt always hits us up with a ton of teasers and spoilers for upcoming updates, so give him a follow. He's normally on the patch preview stream, but he won't be able to make it for tomorrow's, unfortunately. So first, he said there's a VIP skin coming and that it was already teased. He's talking about the Mecha Drogo skin here since this was posted after that. So we'll be able to pick it up for VIP points, which is what I was hoping for because I didn't have much of a reason to spend them last update. He says the VFX are so good and he doesn't specify its rarity. I'm really hoping it'll be a legendary. He also talks about a character getting their first real epic skin. I'm pretty positive this is Maeve's Zoro skin. Maeve doesn't have an epic, only rares and a legendary. I think everyone else in the game has an epic besides Strix and Grok, but neither of those have anything data mined. He did say Grok would be getting some love soon a while back though, so hopefully this update a skin for Grok will get data mined. He says there's also an uncommon coming, probably the best uncommon they've ever done. Imagine if this is what Grok gets. That would probably be a bit more upsetting to people than anything. Either way, I'm eager to see it. Grover's Halloween uncommon is really cool, so let's see how they plan on topping it. He also says there's emotes, special offer stuff, quality of life and bug fixes, and some buffs and changes that we have been asking for. There's no way to be positive on what exactly he's talking about here because there's a lot of buff fixes and changes that we have been asking for. What are you guys hoping for? I really want Leanne's Presence, Valor, and Eminence bugs fixed. I also wouldn't mind Shaolin's Draw FPS bug getting fixed. I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, but he is really good right now, so I'd like to play him smoothly. More dance emotes would also be really cool too. Those are always really awesome. Then we have some info on the new character. A male frontline is coming, and he apparently checks off a lot of stuff on Holt's list. So I'm assuming he's coming with some really cool and unique things in his kit. I have seen some of the data mining about this character, so I have an idea of what those things might be, but I'll leave that out for this video. That's it for the teasers, but I do want to talk about some upcoming changes that Garrett and Juju talked about on the Dev Insight stream today. They're pretty big. They're going to test these things out in the PTS this weekend, and they're not supposed to go live with OB61. I think one or two of them might, but I'm not entirely positive on that with the way they worded it. First is third person. Some people liked third person in the spawn room, some hated it. I didn't really love it myself. They're going to add the option to toggle this on and off. However, this option also applies to actual gameplay. They're going to set a hotkey, they said it would probably be C, and it will instantly swap you between first and third person. Now this is super confusing to me. They added the 2-second lockout to emotes so people couldn't just swap to third person to see around walls. But now they're making it an option through a hotkey? I don't really know how well it's going to play out. Anyway, they're going to be testing it. They're going to be putting out surveys so everyone can give their feedback on it. It's not going to be in the competitive playlist, and there's going to be an option to allow or disallow it in custom games for those of you that like to scrim against each other. Next up, they're doing some really big things to Wrecker, and they sound pretty scary at first. So they're making it so Wrecker will no longer modify damage against barriers, but to the frontline characters themselves. The new values will be 10, 20, and 30% bonus damage against front lines. Just like aggression, but for only front lines. To compensate for this, they're going to lower the HP of all the barriers accordingly. Their reasoning for this is that it doesn't feel good to have your barrier get instantly melted later on in the game. Now, this is weird to me because with the new wrecker, you yourself could get instantly melted instead. The values aren't too high, so this may end up not being such a bad thing. Part of me feels like this could possibly be a buff to frontlines, because with no bonus damage against your barrier, you could have more uptime, even with the 30% damage being done against you. We gotta test it out and see though. I also want to make this clear, whatever is affected by Wrecker currently will still be affected by the new Wrecker. So, for example, Leanne's Valor and Grace, or Drogos' Salvo will still be buffed by the new Wrecker. If you played the PTS this weekend, please give Hi-Rez your feedback. We don't want anything unhealthy for the game making it through. I mean, we already have Andros and Lex's CSGO time to kill in the game after all. Now, the last thing is diminishing returns. So basically right now, if you have percentage boosts to anything, like let's use movement speed for example, it would take the strongest value and use that, ignoring any of the other values. So let's say you get Nimble 3 on Victor and then you start sprinting. You'd get the 65% from sprint, but not the 30% from Nimble until you stopped sprinting. But now it's going to take the strongest value and stack the other values on top of it, but the other values are going to be less powerful. I don't know by how much. They said they'd release that info to us later. They also talked about the hard caps bonuses can reach. Movement speed can only stack up to 150%, while everything else can only stack up to 95%, like Cauterize. So let's say somebody has Caut 3 and somebody has Caut 1, and they attack the same target. That target would get hit with a max of 95% healing reduction, despite Caut 1 being 30% and not 5%. Now, this I don't think will be that big of a deal. Currently, if you're hit with Caut 3, you're not getting enough healing to save you anyway, so adding another 5% to that won't really mess with all that much. Anyway, that's it for all the info we have on OB61 right now. The patch preview is tomorrow at 1 PM Eastern, so we'll get all the info on the update then. If you miss it, don't worry, I'll have my patch notes video up sometime after the live stream. And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye!